Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crisis Talk. Another day, another topic, and I'm very excited for it. Actually,
Yes, and his name is William.
oh
And
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
oh yeah,
my name
man. Yeah, I'm William. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
That's what it
my name's
is. Just
Palimi,
ask
and
everyone to double check.
I'm very excited about today.
And it's Shy back here again. Haven't slept in 48 hours, so we move.
Hi, I'm Semi. New here, I think. Yeah, I'm new.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Sammy. Actually,
Yeah.
and I love how you did your hair. It's very cute. Today we are going to be talking about why we cannot love or be in relationships in this current climate that we live in. And the climate I'm talking about is just like social media, how people are able to be in long lasting relationships. Every relationship is quite short lived.
Divorce rates just get higher and higher as time.
Exactly. When we were talking about this before we came on to record, we were talking about it just reminds me of that song, like that NSG song. Like I just even go now. I forgot it. Yeah,
And you've been saying it
Exactly.
for.
I actually saying it. Oh, it goes. I don't just everybody. I just myself, and I feel like that's so true. Like people, I think in this generation, in this climate, they've become so numb to love and to being in love and to being with the right person
Like being vulnerable.
and being vulnerable that they don't do it. So they just put a guard up, and once that guard is up, or once that trust has been broken from one previous relationship, it's hard for people to get into relationships. And some people haven't even been in relationships at all. But I personally haven't been in any relationship that's apart from primary school. But whatever.
Do you think, Palumi, do you think that has something to do with what you're speaking about there, like having to relinquish some of your control to trust other people?
I think so, and I think it also has a lot to do with that. I don't think people let themselves be open to a relationship. So you kind of shut yourself down before it even happens. That's what I think happened to my case. There's not even the idea of it is so foreign to me that it's it wouldn't be a thing, if that makes sense. And I think that people, and I think I don't know why that is. I guess I think it's just because the people around me, the relationship that they've been in, and I'm talking about my friends, and people that I know, the relationships that they've been in have just been very, or the situations that they've been in have just been very interesting. Let's say,
Toxic. You mean?
It's just been a lot, and that's no shade, that's no tea, that's just it's scary to get into relationships. I'm scared because it's oh my god. And that's for both men and women. It's not just a man thing or a woman. I think both men and women have played their role in relationships being toxic in this day and age.
It's true, but I feel like what you're saying there also might signify that at its core, what it is simply people are too scared to risk it and get hurt. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to trust someone, and then that person breaks your trust, and then now you're some clown who put your trust in someone.
Yeah.
And
I think there's often that image of some people have that phrase of you've got my heart in your hands. So that in itself is the trust there, because you when you do even I do think that people have a choice to love. So when you make that choice and you're okay, I'm going to give you this, take care of it, it's you do have to have that trust. And I think a lot of people don't have that trust, and it stems from other things their relationships with their family. At the end of the day, the way and it comes down to the way we've been raised and the way our families have connected with us and offered that emotional support influences then how we navigate relationships. So if you have what is it called, guys, what is it, there was that psychologist, I can't remember. Someone in the comments will know exactly what I'm talking about, but it's just slipped my mind now. But there's the theories of you have different.
What, it's
The attachment theory.
Yeah, different attachments. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. So yeah, the different attachments, and I think that then informs how you trust people in your future relationships, and that's what the theory is about as well. So I think that plays a big part, because if you've not been able to trust in your primary caregivers, how are then you expected at your informative years, when you're looking to make connections that are not familial anymore, to then be able to trust them when you've never been able to trust people who were supposed to be there for you?
Yeah. Sammy?
Yeah, that's a very big point. I feel like in regards to trust, like with what you said about witnessing, like your friends being in very, very bad relationships, it kind of puts you in a position where it's like, do I want to do this? Do I want to put myself out there and catch the L? And I feel like sometimes some people go and put themselves out there, catch the L, and when they catch the L, they're like, nope, not again. You shall never catch me. You shall. But then, like, you kind of have to, at some point, you have to let that wall go, but you just have to be very careful with who you pick. And you have to evaluate yourself. Why do I want someone who has X and Y qualities? Are these qualities actually needed for me, or are they just needed for someone else, for their relationship? Because what works for that person does not work for you. It's just what you need. You need to know yourself, which sounds so cliche, but you really do need to know yourself.
It's true.
Before your relationship can be successful.
Yeah, I think that,
and relationships aren't easy either, bro.
No, they're not.
People think it's all day.
In a relationship, and you want to actually find love, you have to put your pride aside and be willing to take that out. Because you know, if you're holding yourself off, you can't be loved. Like, you know, there's barriers that can't be crossed, and at that point, you know, you're just a very formal sex partner, or a very formal talking.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like intimacy is beautiful, but you have to let yourself like feel it and embrace it, which a lot of people our age are not ready for. And that's just the truth.
And what I want to say is that this isn't necessarily just about relationship in terms of like sexual, or like in the sense of like sexual relationship, or like being intimate in that area. Like I feel like this issue comes with friendships as well. It's and like how people don't let themselves become friends with someone as well, or like put barriers up in regards to friendship because of the fact that they've been hurt so much. And then the other thing about trust, one thing I think is really interesting is you can you can love someone, but you can love someone without trusting them, but you can't. You can. Wait, what's that? You can love someone. No, you can trust someone without loving them, but you can't love someone without trusting them. You can't get to love someone without trusting them first. There we go. You can't get to love someone without trusting them first. So trust is so important. Like it's the bedrock of a relationship. So then once that trust has been broken in any way, shape, or form, whether it's cheating, lying, being low down and dirty, it breaks it.
Yeah, I feel like with the trust thing, sometimes people put their partners on a pedestal. Like, you are this perfect person that cannot do anything wrong. And when, let's say your partner does something wrong, a lot of people these day and age, like our age, they just like, okay, now the trust is broken, I'm going to leave. They don't want to put in the effort to fix the relationship. And to be honest, I understand it, because people are going to say, you are young, you are 19, why should you be like trying to fix someone's broken issues? But at the end of the day, you're probably going to end up with someone at 27, 26 who probably still has those issues, and you're still going to have to do it. So it's kind of just what it is.
And I think that you should, because you never know, that person that you're with at 19 could be the one that you're meant to be with. Like, if that could be your Mr. or Mrs. Perfect. So
people are blocking their blessings.
Yeah, people are blocking their blessings.
I wanted to add on as well, like, I think a lot of it a lot of what we're experiencing in the world is in these like fast pace, like it's hot and heavy, and then next thing you know, like you just don't speak to them ever again, or you get into a relationship quickly, you're there for a year, and then it's just like relationship after relationship. Not my personal experience, but I know that is often what people are in. They're in a constant recycle. And I think as well, it's much to do with like knowing, because you kind of touched on it earlier, Sammy, like knowing what you don't want. People often know that. They can say like, oh, like I don't want him to cheat, but then when we're talking about core values, they can't name the core values that they want in their partner. Yeah. And then additionally, they can't communicate these effectively, because as well as trust, like communication, like we are young, but I think emotional intelligence and being able to communicate your emotions, I think we will be the generation where we break these cycles and teach our kids like you can communicate effectively. You don't have to shout. You can just sit there with whoever and express to them like whether they've hurt you, how this has made you feel, how this has made you feel happy, how this has made you feel sad.
And
stuff.
I think really listening to them as well, like, and because I know, Shai, that's really important to, like, it's really important to listen to somebody and actually like not to just listen to respond, but to listen to understand, so that you can be then be like, okay, this is what I did, this is what you did, then like try and come to like some kind of common background. Because I feel like what I used to do is sometimes in arguments, I just used to reply to what I'm hearing. But like I think I'm growing into like, okay, you know what, this is what you said, I fully accept that, and then come back to it rather than just reacting. Because like sometimes when you just react, like the conversations can be so intense, like, ooh, it gets, and when you're both really really angry, or like when you both really agree on your own points, like when you're trying to like communicate, it's very intense, and that's friendship and relationship, I think.
Because I feel like sometimes when people are in their feelings, they don't know how to communicate properly. Because like how people easily destroy relationships is, let's say for example, like you're in an argument and you're trying to explain something, but you're coming from a point of view where, like you said, you're not listening and you're just barking at them and you're not communicating properly. Because there's a way to say some things, like if someone does something to you, there's a way to say it to them that they will actually take a minute and step back and be like, oh shit, I messed up. But when you come at them in a certain kind of way, you've closed the conversation. Nothing's going to happen there, because you've planted a seed where it's just, you've turned them off. It's just not going to happen. I feel like a lot of people don't know how to communicate properly. Like communication, there's one thing to talk, and then there's one thing to talk in a way where someone will actually be like, okay, cool, I'm going to actually empathize and understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's true. And like, is a key aspect.
Very key, because it's easy to offend someone. Very easy.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes even what you say is, like you said, it's just how you say it. If you're saying things in a rational way, people will be actually here for it. Another thing that we wanted to talk about, that I wanted to also mention, is when Shai, you said about like knowing what you want, and people know what
an emotional intelligent man, come through, please. Emotionally intelligent man, please. My DMs are open. When I reactivate Insta, they will be there.
What's it called? It's like, I feel like we all know about Sierra and like how she married Russell Wilson, and like their relationship is really really successful, and it's really really it's amazing. But I feel like she said that she prayed for that. Like I feel like when you are getting into like a relationship and like something that's really serious, you have to be intentional with what you want. You have to know what you want, and then like God will take control, or like whatever you believe in, the universe, whatever, will take control and will hopefully bring that into your life. But I feel like what this generation is not doing, they're not allowing that to happen. They're not even allowing like a higher power or a higher being to come and give them the right thing, because they just feel like everything is all, once they see a hurdle of mistake, once they see one thing that's a mistake, then it's like bad. They're going to block their blessings, which is really, really bad.
Yeah, I think the
And
problem as well with that, sorry, Pliny,
oh
is
no,
leading on to that with the higher power. If you don't know yourself and if you don't know your character, you're going to be asking for the wrong things. Sierra had gone through, like, if you listen to her Red Table Talk, she went through a process where she had to, like, be stripped bare to who she was, to then understand who she was, like, outside of a relationship, understand who she was as a mother, understand who she was by herself. And then that then allowed her to know, well, I want this, 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 and this, because this is what I am. Maybe this is what I want, but this is what I need, and that's the difference. And if you don't know yourself, then you're going to be praying for things that you want, but you don't necessarily need. And in this, like, generation, I feel like, especially, we're all young at the end of the day, like, we're still going through process of truly understanding yourself, and like every year that's a further step. But I think a lot of people are rushing into relationships where you kind of know that you're fundamentally your values can't coexist, but you just continue to do it. It'd be like I'm already here, so I might as well just go along for the ride, but not necessarily. Sometimes, just act that out, save your time.
and leave when you need to. And then I also think that, like, the what is allowed between, like, men and women is not the same, in a sense of, like, we were talking about how women and men approach relationships in sometimes, like for example, guys have, like, certain expectations when they're taking women out on dates and, like, stuff like that. And then, but sometimes the woman, wouldn't, like, that's nothing that she's trying to do. She's not trying to, like, kiss the guy. She's not even trying to, like, she's just trying to get this, like, meal. This isn't for all cases. This is just some women. And
sometimes
like,
you just want to go out on a date, innit?
Yeah, sometimes they just want to do that. But, like, I don't think women actually deep how, like, when a guy finally realizes that he's been finessed. Like, I think, first of all, it's the realization that I've been finessed, and then is also the fact that, like, I think for men it's also the fact that, like, it was the expectation that's not true anymore. So it's the expectation of, like, a kiss or whatever, or, like, some form of gratification that the man doesn't have anymore. Like, I feel like it's that realization that really pisses men off, to then be trash, or to then think it's acceptable to be trash. But like, men do it as well. So, though, like, men can lead a guy can lead a girl on so much so that she thinks that she's going to be his next wife, like his wife, like the mother of his children. So it does go both ways. And yeah,
it's true. It does go both ways. It's true.
Yeah.
And that's so, I feel like people need to work on that and, like, make sure, like, everybody is on the same page.
I feel like
I don't think people ever will be though. No.
At least in heterosexual relationships, because, that's what I can really talk about. But I feel like there's a bit of a war. There's a bit of a, I don't know, guys don't trust girls don't trust guys. Because everyone knows, imagine, with Love Island and all that bullshit on TV. I don't know.
No, but it's not bullshit. To me, though, it's not bullshit, though, because these things
Love
happen.
Island is bullshit, man. That's not even...
No, okay, it's produced.
Don't attack me!
It's produced, but it's not, like, what happened with Anna and Jordan, like, that can genuinely happen. A guy can ask a girl to be his girlfriend, and then the next day move on to another, like, show interest to another girl. That genuinely happens. And then people like Michael
It's because you don't know what you want. That's why you're so flitty. One day,
and people just go with the wind, because it would piss me off. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 minute, but, like, it would piss me off if I was in a relationship with someone, and then, we're good, and then now the audacity, the chest, the confidence to now, you know what? Then people say I'm mad. No.
I've heard in some relationships that like, some people leave their relationship because they want more. Like, they generally just feel like they can get more. I've heard people tell me that what's it called? That they were in a relationship with someone and they got on, like like they got on really well, but they just felt like they could have more. Is that temptation of what if there's more out there? And I was speaking to someone this morning, and they were like, sometimes it's about the thrill of a new person. And sometimes some people are like, okay, cool, you're good, you're calm, you might get on 80% of the time, but there's that 20%. Maybe that other person has 20%, or they have 10% of the 20%. Like some people just quite, like, it's selfish, but it is what it is, live your life.
Yeah.
But like
They're
some
just not
people just
satisfied.
want more. Yeah.
And the truth is, they have a right to leave, because that person, if
Yeah.
they in 5 years down the line, they'll cheat on you because
Oh.
they wasn't satisfied, but they tricked
Exactly.
themselves into believing
You
that
have to.
to not break a heart. But sometimes, you got to break a heart. But I think also there's a problem that perpetuates it, like social media, like all these different dating platforms that there are. And just like, I guess the societal norm like is to just move to girls wherever you want, or move to guys wherever you want. Makes it you feel like you want more just because there's more options. Like back in the day, it's like you're just like, Ross, I scored myself a wife, let me live the rest of my life in peace. But it's like now it's like, I'm with this girl, but you never know about that girl though, you never know about this girl though. Like there's just too many options. And
I don't know.
people
I'd
aren't
say
content.
it's always been like that. I'd say kind of it's always been like that though. Like on the same way you can go on your Insta and DM a girl is the same way that like maybe like our parents' generation, like they'd be like, ooh, like sis, we're going out tonight. Like I'm sick of this. I'm gonna go bag me a new man. Like it's just different. It's on different platforms. I think the temptation of
there's more of an
Insta.
abundance today though.
I'd say it's just changed form, like the temptation of Insta. It's just more visible. Like even like the aspect of Tinder. Tinder is literally like going to the shop to pick a mate. Like it's just these aspects of dating now that just make it so. I don't know
Like
what the word is. It's like so reductionist. Like it's just so.
I feel like that's so true. Because like you've reduced, people have literally reduced the idea of finding the love of your life and the person you're going to marry over like people swiping. Like,
I feel like people reduce love to like hedonistic gratification. Like a lot of it now is just about primal urges and like animalistic fulfillment.
Why do you say animalistic? Come on, man. Sex is human.
Sex.
It is what it is. Like it's what it like. A lot of people are very like ravenous. Let me just put the word somewhere. But like they really just want to exercise their urges and their right to pick. Like I speak to a lot. I have this guy, and I was speaking to him, and he was just like, sometimes I just want to pick someone and do a thing and drop it, and pick another one, do a thing and drop it, pick another one, do a thing. Like they don't want to be tied down. I feel like the freedom in today's society to do what you want has allowed a lot of people to really feel like, yes, I am going to do what I want, and it's okay for me to live a relationship because I'm not happy, and they rightfully should.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's sad on the other person, but it's your life and you have to live it.
Yeah. See, that's the thing I'd say sometimes is beautiful about our generation. As much as that word commitment of us, we're also very, very picky. And that can be really bad because some people block their blessings, but other people sit there and they deep that like, this is not for me. Like, and they don't waste them times. They don't waste them excess years that maybe other people would trying to figure out like how they can make this relationship work. Instead, they're like, I'm going to put me first, because I feel like our generation, it is like it's about us. Like at the end of the day, like we're very self-centered people, which I'm not mad at, because at the end of the day, we're not going to be stuck in loveless marriages if we can, have it. Like we're going to leave. We're not on it. It's about us and it's about our happiness. And I think it's a double-edged sword. But I'd rather, honest to God, I'd rather just not. I'd rather be selfish and possibly end up happy than, staying in things that are not for me.
Yeah. But I feel like there are some positives. Like I feel like the fact that people, they're not just settling on what they think is right. Like if they think, oh, something's wrong, they're gonna more. People are now having the liberty to say, you know what, I don't like this, I don't like that, and I think this should change. I think it's becoming better, but I feel like people need to work on themselves, and before you get into relationships. And then I also think what I found is that people go for people's friends. And then what I also found is that people go for people in relationships. I'll explain the two. So the first one, people going for people's friends is like,
He
Shai
just
and
wants to
Semi
get some
were
things
like,
off his
best.
chest.
Huh?
He just wants to get some things off his chest, guys.
I was like, what?
Yeah, sorry. No, so, okay, this is
Go
what
on,
I've
go on.
seen in our generation. We're talking about our generation, right?
Yeah.
This
It's
is
the
what I've
truth. It's the
seen.
truth.
People could be like, girls could be like best friends, right? And then one could be dating a guy. So Semi was dating a guy, and like Shai is your best friend. And then Shai now decides to go with the guy that you were with. No, say it was William. So Shai then goes William
We're now
after
fighting over
the
William.
fact that he's been with Semi. Like, what the fuck? Like, who does that? Like,
I
who does that
mean,
intentionally?
William's a rather handsome guy,
People,
so you can't blame
people
him.
so selfish, but I love
William
it
said,
sometimes.
"I've got the sauce." William said, "I've
Nah,
got the
some
sauce."
people are so selfish, but sometimes I love it. Like, it's gonna sound so bad, but personally, I wouldn't do this. But if someone was gonna do this, what is not Michelle? Do your own. And if it's an ex that actually, if it's an ex that I actually don't care about, like we won't be friends. But I'm not gonna be mad at you. Like, it's on when I've got with my ex, one of my close friends. Like, we won't still be friends. But if he makes you happy, honestly, do your own. Although I don't think any of them will, but that's your own.
See, that's the question. What would you guys actually do? So, say like you break up with someone, and one of she doesn't have to be your best friend, or he doesn't have to be your best friend, but they are your good friends. But these two are like soulmates. Like, you see them work together, and they are like perfect. Like, what's the move? What's the next move, guys?
Yo,
Are you going to the wedding? Are you holding that bouquet?
Me, yo. Anyway, I wish everyone to find love, you know? So, you know, all I say is be careful because women can't be trusted.
Oh my gosh. He has to push this agenda, of course. Bloomy, what you saying?
I think it's the intention. I'm all about, like, I think it's the intention of, like, if you guys just, you know, fall in love and, like, you know, that's calm, you know, do you? I would still be friends with people. But then this goes on to the other point. It's like, if you intentionally go for someone in a relationship, I just feel like that's so low. Like, you're trying to break someone else's happiness, and like somebody else's, like, you know, relationship. And like, I feel like there's a special place close to hell for people that do that, because
serious things.
who does that? Who does that?
Yeah.
Like,
personally,
some people do get a bit of a thrill out of it. But yeah, it's not.
I guess, but you know what?
I guess if anything, what we're saying this episode is just make sure you're fully with yourself before you get with anyone.
Yeah,
Definitely.
You know?
And don't hurt the people.
Yeah, and just know what you want.
Okay, guys, I've got a question.
Just be careful as well.
What's your question?
I've got a question. What happens halfway through, like, putting yourself together? You find someone, you're like, oh, this is the person I actually like, but you're not 100% there. But the thing is, I personally believe you're never going to be 100% there. Exactly. What do you do?
Well,
would you go with the person, or would you say, I need some time?
If there's potential, go for it. You know, I'm always in favor of taking action.
I think you can grow with another person. The problem is that so many people know that they are toxic, and they just are unwilling to work on it. Like, I have been that person where I'm like, I know that, like, this is an issue, but like, I'm not doing anything for it. That, like, then you are just putting that other person in harm's way. And I think a lot of people are in that cycle.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like also people just don't know that they're toxic as well. Like, they think that what they're doing is right. So they think that, like, talking to people in a way whereby it is like, I can just, you know, do this in this relationship, or this friendship is okay. They don't know that it's like, no, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that. I feel like people have to unlearn some certain behaviors. For example, like, I don't know, for example, you know, in a way, like degrading the person that you're meant to be with, like, or degrading your friend, or like just being like weird about like when it comes to like relationships, and not being fully honest as well. Like if you're not fully honest in that relationship, then it kind of opens the door for things to start being weird. So yeah, you have to be honest with yourself and be honest with the person you're with.
Yeah, it's hard to do those things though. It's very hard. At least
It
being
is.
honest with the person that you're with, because sometimes it's hard to have certain conversations with people. It is very hard. And that's why I feel like people our age need to develop the art of speaking to someone in a way where you can have the most uncomfortable conversation, but the person is still open to listen to you because you've not kind of pissed them off. Like you need to learn how to pick your words very, very carefully. Yeah. But that's for those who care about like having like a nice, stable relationship.
Because yeah, it's not for everybody, you know, and it's your
Exactly
preference.
not.
That's kind of sad, bro. Like, do you really want to die alone? Like, I think we should still.
Yeah.
At some
Some
point,
people
you're
want to
going
be
to
that
have
cool
to do
auntie.
it. Yeah.
Some people want to
Nah.
live their best, their best.
Their best
Everyone's
life.
bestest life is like dependent on perspective. Some people's bestest life is genuinely just like, you know, traveling, just being with them. Like, because at the end of the day, relationships are a lot like for some people, and I get it. Like, it's not for them. Like that, you are literally in a relationship, and especially in a marriage, like you are responsible, and you're equally both responsible for like each other's like emotional support. Like, that's an extra
And
job.
that can be
That's
a
an extra
beautiful
full-time
thing
job,
with the
and you're
right
not getting
person.
paid.
With
Yeah,
the right
I feel like
Yeah, you want to do it.
Just one thing I want to touch on that you said, like you are supposed to help your partner like be emotionally stable, but everyone needs to have an emotional source or like a source of their livelihood that is completely outside of their relationship. If you need your partner to be happy, you will flop. You will 100% flop. You need something else. That's one thing I've noticed anyway,
That's a
recently,
fact.
like with my
Definitely.
relationship.
That's a big fact.
At the end of the day, love and dating today is a game. Just try not to lose. Like that is the prerogative. In
Unless
any form.
you get the bag first. The bag comes before
Oh
love.
my gosh.
No, it does.
You're gonna
Love
be
doesn't pay bills.
cuddling. You're gonna be cuddling your bags of money. You.
Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't buy food.
You still need money though. You really still do need money.
Yeah.
Before love, that's on my heart. Back before love.
No, for real, love or money, guys.
Money.
Ending thing.
Money.
For real, Palumi, love or money.
Of course, love, because then I can get all the money in the world.
No, we can do it together.
We can do it together. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Now,
It's
love.
all about the money.
Like,
I'm so sorry. It's all about the money.
What about you, Shai? What did you say?
Love, I'm a hopeless romantic.
The Aquarius. And we're the best love makers. Let's be clear. The star sign Aquarius make the best love. So, yeah. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe as well.
Yeah.